Once upon a time, in a small, humble village nestled by a dense forest, lived a woodcutter. He was known throughout the village not for wealth or status, but for his unwavering honesty and diligent spirit. Every morning, as the sun began to cast its golden rays upon the earth, he would venture into the forest, his trusty iron axe resting on his shoulder. This axe was his most prized possession, the sole means by which he earned a livelihood for his family. It was old and worn, but its blade was always sharp, a testament to the woodcutter's care. One sweltering afternoon, the woodcutter was working near the edge of a deep, fast-flowing river that snaked through the forest. The air was thick with humidity, and beads of sweat trickled down his brow as he swung his axe with practiced rhythm. The sharp thwack of the blade against a sturdy oak echoed through the trees. As he drew back for another swing, his hands, slick with sweat, lost their grip. The axe flew from his grasp in a wide arc, glinting in the sunlight for a brief moment before plunging into the dark, swirling waters of the river with a loud splash. A cry of despair escaped the woodcutter's lips. He rushed to the riverbank, peering into the depths, but the current was too strong and the water too murky. The axe was gone. He sank to his knees, his heart heavy with a sense of hopelessness. Without his axe, he could not work. Without work, his family would go hungry. Tears welled up in his eyes as the weight of his misfortune pressed down on him. As he sat there, lost in his sorrow, the water before him began to shimmer with an otherworldly light. A gentle ripple turned into a swirling vortex of soft blues and greens, and from the center emerged a beautiful fairy. She was the guardian of the river, her form ethereal and her eyes filled with a kind, ancient wisdom. "Good man," she said, her voice as soothing as the gentle lapping of water against the shore. "Why do you weep?" Startled, the woodcutter looked up. He recounted his tale of woe, explaining how his only axe, the key to his family's survival, now lay at the bottom of the river. The fairy listened with a compassionate expression. "Your sorrow is great," she acknowledged, "but do not despair. I shall help you." With those words, she gracefully dove back into the river, disappearing beneath the surface. A moment later, she reappeared, holding an axe that shone with a dazzling light. It was made of pure gleaming gold, and jewels were embedded in its handle. "Is this magnificent axe yours?" she asked, presenting it to the woodcutter. The man's eyes widened at the sight of such a treasure. It was worth more than he could ever earn in a lifetime, but it was not his. "No, gentle fairy," he said, shaking his head. "That is not my axe. Mine was a simple tool of iron." The fairy smiled, pleased with his response, and dove back into the water. This time, she returned with an axe of polished, shimmering silver. It was less grand than the golden one, but still a fortune. "Perhaps this one is yours?" she inquired. Again, the woodcutter looked at the precious object and shook his head. "No," he replied firmly. "That is not mine either." "My axe was plain and had a handle of worn wood." The fairy's smile widened. She dove into the river one last time. When she surfaced, she held his old, familiar iron axe. The woodcutter's face lit up with joy. That is my axe," he exclaimed, his voice filled with relief and gratitude. The fairy floated towards him and held out all three axes. "You are a truly honest man," she declared, her voice ringing with admiration. "You were not tempted by the riches of gold or silver even in your time of need. To reward your integrity, I gift you all three axes. May your honesty always bring you fortune." The woodcutter, overwhelmed with gratitude, thanked the fairy profusely. He returned to his village not just with his livelihood restored, but with a reward that would ensure his family's comfort for years to come. His story spread far and wide, a timeless reminder that honesty, a treasure in itself, is always the best policy.